So, ladies and gents, as I mentioned before the personal introduction, this introductory chapter, I would like to define a basic concept, basic information and basic concept concerning formation of world economy system. The basic information, this is a lecture. It's very important to define, you are audience, I'm a lecturer. But time by time, I will try to open the communication and I try to ask and discuss with you some problem. Second information. I don't know why, but credit value of this course change according to different faculty. Some faculty, 2 credits, other 1, 3, and some faculty, its value is 4 credits. I have no influence for defining the credits, only I organize the operation of lecture and later the exam. Participation not mandatory. Not mandatory, but I started my career at the beginning of 90s, therefore I have a great practice. I am able to take a lecture in front of the wall even. But I don't want to do because there is a psychological problem if somebody speaking fluently alone into the wall. But I have a practice because during my childhood, as I mentioned, I socialized at small villages. And my mother was very nervous because I discussed a lot with the cattle, 1 and 2 hours. And my mother told to me that was according to her forecast that there is a chance that I will spend my life in the mental hospital, but avoid until now. I am not able to forecast the future. Okay, not mandatory. If somebody participates, at the end of each lecture, I read the list of participants. If somebody never participates in the lecture, no consequences. It's true. But if somebody quite regularly participates in the lecture, I will take into consideration somehow in the evaluation of written exam. Okay, yes, I mentioned. Okay, next exam. Very important, it's a written exam. A written exam at the end at the beginning of exam period. I will ask, exam period start 26 May and close at the beginning of July. I will ask 2 types of question. A short question, the question is maybe a longer one, the answer not more in the case of definition 3, 4, 5 sentences. The second type is a short essays. Okay? And you can, the exam of procedure of evaluation, everybody receive a personal evaluation via CoSpace mailing system. If you receive my evaluation, you have 2 options. Agree with my evaluation or not. If you not agree, discuss with me my evaluation and arguing successfully or not. Other one, you can repeat exam any times until the end of exam period. And I will record the best grade to Neptune, electronic surveys. Okay, therefore, no consequences. You will receive, if some student, for example, 2 years ago, repeated 4 times and received the same grade. And the best grade I recorded to Neptune, of course, as I promise. Okay? Preparation to exam, very important. Very far the beginning of exam period, but very important to define how you can prepare for successful exam. The first one, regular participation on lecture. It's not mandatory. It's possible, for example, reading on YouTube a series like, for example, on the Netflix series. And very important, help a lot, that AI make subtitle to the lecture. Not 100%, but Generally, the reliability of subtitle 70%, quite usable. And even each student, even the foreign student, help a lot, not for native speaker, except you. Okay, documents. I will load up a handouts about the material of my lecture series to the course space. You can see, you can read the handout. There is a possibility for consultation. First, electronically, this is my email address. I will load up, of course, the slide series to CoSpace, and personally after the course, but unfortunately it's quite late. I am not the best condition after the lecture, but for service of student, I do my best. And as consultation, my office there is in this building, other side of the building, 1106 number of my office. Okay, there is a question? No question.
Last semester I took another class for the chemistry department, and the professor asked me to do a paper.
Yeah.
An article.
No.
Okay.
No. I will. It's not on the main direction of your education.
Okay.
It's a little bit complementary. It's a historical background of economic processes. Therefore, it's not so important to take under pressure the students so high. Yeah. Okay. I focus to enjoy everybody.
Thank you so much.
Me or yeah, but my first boss told to me that a scientific career necessary bad characteristics. For example, selfishness. Generally, a selfishness is a bad characteristics. But without selfishness, no concentration. And very important, for example, it's stubbornness. Similarly.
No, there are no papers in the semester.
Yeah, but on the other side, I don't prefer the papers because the ChatGPT. I received last year so bad paper which wrote a ChatGPT that I avoid, and I focused to personal communication in the case of exam and the personal control of student in the frame of exam. Therefore, a ChatGPT transform the procedure of paper making to my impression. Therefore, written exam personally. Okay, other question? No. So, look at the fundamental concept. Very important to define a conceptual framework of scientific cognition. Why so important? Because if we are looking the world, looking the physical environment, looking the society, there are recently only one relevant cognition strategy. It's a rational cognition, which is the criteria of rational cognition. The basic criteria making a fact. For example, in consequence of scientific research, which is the basic and crucial nature of the fact. Very variable or deniable. But very interesting peculiarity of the facts that no final cognition via rational, research-based cognition. Why? Look at, for example, open the guidebook published in different sciences. A majority of that expire the facts, reliability of the facts. For example, I live together in the student hostel, a biologist. And for example, biology, it's a front science developed very quickly. Look at, for example, the medical sciences based to the biological research. No citing older study than 5 years. Why? Because the rhythm of expire, rhythm of development so fast that information, it's lost the reliability. for 5 years only. Therefore, which is the advantage of rational cognition, it's quite easy to transfer the information. For example, this lecture, this course, unfold on the frame of rational cognition. I am speaking, I am sending a handout for you, and you devote for learning this information. It's possible. But very important, realize no final cognition. Cognition, rational way, it's a process. A process, basically. But beside the rational cognition, recently rational cognition after the Enlightenment, you know which is the Enlightenment. This is the process of 18th century when became rational cognition a dominant and only one official form of the cognition. But beside the rational cognition, there are two other ones. The second one, a spiritual cognition. A spiritual cognition, which is the elementary unit of spiritual cognition. There are a Muslim student in this audience, Muslim student. No Muslim. It's quite rare because former years a lot of Muslim students. You know the Quran, the story of the Quran, Muhammad. Muhammad met personally around the mountain of Mecca with Archangel Gabriel, personally. But if I tell for you that last day I speak personally with Gabriel, Archangel, nobody believes. Nobody. Why? Well, or the Bible. Christian? Some Christian? Hobby Christian? Okay, I'm a hobby Christian. If I have free time and the God, we can be with each other. In the story of Bible, you know the story of crossroads of Damascus. Syria, recently it's a quite relevant political issue. It's a story of Syria. From Syria, somebody? Nobody. Okay, on the crossroads of Damascus, Saul, later Peter, met personally with Jesus, lost the consciousness, and we are listening to this story and nobody lost the consciousness. Why? Because for us, only one story, no more. But this personal meeting with the God transformed whole of the life of Saul. And this is the final cognition. Receive a final cognition. On spiritual way, there is a final cognition, but it's personal. We are not able to transfer one to other, only telling a story. And the third cognition is a magical cognition. Not by chance so popular a story of Harry Potter. Because there is, like for example, in the case of alcoholist, missing of magical experiences. But which is the peculiarity of magical experiences? We are not able to control the procedure. Why speak about this different form of the cognition? Because to my experiences, very important to define that rational cognition open the way only one slice of the reality. And spiritual and the magical cognition open other windows. But I have a license for the rational cognition only. Therefore, I will speak about the procedure of rational cognition and description of the formation of world economic system. Okay, turn back to the story. I speak this information because in the rational cognition, very important or crucial, define the concept. What mean our concept? We have to define the concept of space first. This is the first information. Why? Because the formation of world economic system unfolded on the space, developed a network around different economical center, markets and fairs. Very important, realize which is the space, how we can describe the space, what mean the space. Look at, for example, maps. Somebody used the maps. It's a classical, not only the GPS, a classical maps. A maps, a language. If somebody able, for example, I traveled with my geographer France to ex-Yugoslavia. You know, it's located in the Balkanic Peninsula and collapsed and broke down in civil war. It was very cruel civil war on the 90s. And I visited with my geographer France. I was the driver and my older friends on the back. And we used a military maps. And the reading of military maps was a condition, precondition of survival. Because during the civil war left 4 million mines. 4 million mines. And very important to realize there is a field of mines, there is a field, and avoid these areas. Ukraine is a much worse situation. Space. What means the space? What is the depth of the space? Time. Similarly, history working on the time. But the time is not easy to define, not easy to use. Not by chance, for example, a psychology in the modern time specialized how we can use the time. How we can use the time. Okay, very important, define a world economy system. Why so important? Because recently our life, the modern life, focused economic rational thinking. If some, for example, open the electronic journal or paper-based journal, which is the good news? It's an economic development, which is the bad news. It's a for example, decrease and stop in the stagnation. Therefore, recently we are living a economic rationality. But looking back to the past, wasn't the same situation. For example, in the Middle Ages, directly the guiding force of the life was a prestige-based braveness and military skills and so and so. And if somebody in the Middle Ages thinking according to economic rationality, the contemporaries disdain. It's so bad. It's a folly. Okay. Therefore, very important to realize a mentality, a worldview, and the normality changing. Therefore, if we would like to understand the past a little bit, necessarily change our mind. Okay? And the last one, Europe. Last one, Europe. The world economy system, it's developed from Europe and used European standards. Basically, recently a little bit on the process of mutation, but the basic standards of world economy system based European values and European norms. And very important, define what mean to be European. Even in the Middle Ages. Okay, look at the space first. In the 19th century, divided different group of information. For example, was born a history focused to the problem on time, geography focused on the problem of space, and divided the different group of information. Look at the space a little bit. If we are looking at the space, probably you remember when open in the elementary and secondary school historical maps. It's quite good author, it's a new book, and realize in the historical maps, historical guidebooks, some elementary information about the space, sorry, a little bit late. The first one, a distance. Each maps, on the corner of the maps, there is a scale. With help of the scale, we can transform, in the real world, this distance, what mean? For example, it's the landscape map about Czechia, Bohemia is historical, and the Germany. The first one, distance. If we open even a historical map we can realize the real distance. The second one, a landscape, a geomorphology. If we are looking at the Czech Republic map, green one, it's a valleys or plain area. And the gray one, it's a hilly, and the not black, brown one is a mountain area. Therefore, the color mean the meaning of landscape. And the last information, for example, a political structure. There is nobody from Germany. Nobody. It's very interesting to travel to Germany because so far one dialect to other. Therefore, the German language, it's at least 5 different languages. I socialized, for example, in Bern, in the German Swiss area, and I define myself, I am a B category German. No A, because to A necessarily born in Germany or Swiss Germany, but it's a very special mentality. And somebody know which is the best German? Which tribe is the best one? Because there are Bavarians, Saxon, Prussian. Which is the best one? Nobody knows. In the area around Berlin, the capital, it's a Prussian. For example, I lived together with an East German student on the 80s in student hostel, other side of Hermann student hostel. Somebody from Hermann? No? Okay. And lived together with a German, East German, and on that time had a space program on the frame of Soviet Union and launched one East German astronaut to the space. And I told to my fellow, it's a good news, a German on the space. And he answered, no German, only Saxon. It's much lower, much lower. Or other one, probably you know the name of Bismarck, Chancellor, who unified Germany in the second half of 19th century. And for example, Bismarck, Chancellor Bismarck was a very special politician. Read regularly literature and scientific book. Unbelievable. And once he read how the name, Origin of Space, English natural scientist, Struggle for Survival. Sorry, a little bit late. About the evolution theory. Darwin. Okay, Darwin. Read the book of Darwin. Thanks a lot. Therefore, much better to speak not alone, because if I am in front of the video, never able to realize. Okay, read the book of Darwin, and in large audience, in front of the large audience, spoke about so good book, Darwin, about the origin of species. Why? Because I understood which is the missing link between the human and the monkeys, the Bavarians. Not so good opinion about the Bavarians. It's underdog voice in the German history. Okay, but turn back to the story. If we are looking at Germany, we able to realize it's not practically unified country. It's different tribes organized different principalities and unified only in the 19th century. Okay, look at the geographical space. A geographical space. Geography. This is the science of travelers on the 19th century. Discovered, for example, Australia, discovered Africa, discovered South America, and necessary for them 2 types of information: physical geographical information and human geographical information. It's quite strange, because if we are looking at the sciences, which is the most important border between 2 groups of sciences, natural and social sciences. And in the case of geography, inside of science, inside of geography, there is a border. Natural scientists and physical science, physical geographer, sorry, and social geographer. And somehow, even in the 19th century, a geographer tried to describe the space, structure description made for the space. The first one, a lithosphere. A lithosphere. Unfortunately, not a table, but you can imagine. Close the eyes, okay? If we imagine the Earth, inside of the Earth, there is a core area, basically iron core. Around the core, there is a mantle. A mantle means material, very high temperature, and flexible. We can, for example, experiments about the mantle material on the case of volcano eruption. This is the mantle. And the crust around the Earth, this is the lithosphere. It's a rock sphere. Approximately is 150, 170 kilometers. Okay, this is the lithosphere. We can meet with the lithosphere, mountain area, general. Okay, the second one, pedosphere. A pedosphere, a soil, came from the lithosphere. Why so important? Because the general average size width of soil, half meter. Why so important? Because survival of humankind depend on the soil. Only half meter. And the majority of arable land under chemotherapy. It's not a real soil, not a biological soil. It's under chemotherapy. Pesticide, fertilizers, and everything. But very important to mention that we are 8 billion recently, according to American English, and for 2 billion, no bread without chemotherapy. It's a very hard dilemma. Okay, hydrosphere, majority cover on the surface of Earth, and the life was born inside of hydrosphere. Biosphere, we are member of biosphere, plants and animals, and atmosphere. The size of atmosphere is 100 kilometers, but majority of gases under the 30 kilometers. Troposphere name, it's a lower part, lower third of atmosphere, lower third. If we are traveling, for example, mountain area, you can feel for example, on the ears, how change the pressure of atmosphere. We are able to live only at the bottom of atmospheric ocean. And my favorite, I was a hiker and a speleologist during my university studies, and my favorite picture about the hikers that on the Chomolungma, Mount Everest, the highest peak of Himalaya, three Italian hiker, it's drinking oxygen, and behind them, it's smoking three Sherpa. Sherpa living in the Himalaya area, and vital capacity of the lungs a little bit better than the normal hikers. Okay, atmosphere. It's a sample. This is the traditional sphere of geography. Lithosphere, pedosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, atmosphere. But in the modern time, we are living in basically different historical, geographical period than before the Industrial Revolution. Therefore, in consequence of Industrial Revolution, appeared two new spheres. The sixth one is an anthroposphere. Anthropo is a human, sphere is a sphere. How we can define the anthroposphere? Look at, for example, a nice picture about the Earth, and we can realize the most important area of anthroposphere. Anthroposphere, this building, asphalted surface, highways, everything which made by humans. Look at, for example, very easy to realize Europe. Okay, no. technical dependence. Europe. Very easy to realize a Far East. Very easy to realize it's India, and the coastal area, it's Nile, and the coastal area of Arabian Peninsula. Look at, for example, Africa. Look at, for example, Africa. Bay of Guinea, some part of northern Africa, and the southern Africa. Any other, it's a dark Africa. A dark Africa. Okay? Jump back. No. And the last one, a noosphere. Somebody listened about and read about the noosphere. Noosphere. It's intellectual sphere around the earth. Intellectual sphere. And introduced this term a Jesuit monk, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, and published after his death Le Phénomène Humain, and he described and defined a noosphere. Recently, very easy to define. It's a cyberspace around the Earth. But this event defined much before appearance of cyberspace and the internet and any other. Okay, look at the next one. We defined a historical space, defined the geographical. There are a lot of different geographical space definition, space structure, but we making a survey about the possibilities of definition of space. Look at the ecological space. Ecological space. The basic term of ecological space is a ecosystem. Look at the definition. It's very boring reading a definition, but sometimes it's very useful. Look at it. Eugene Paul Adam, it's an American ecologist, published in the middle of 20th century, but used even now for university education. His definition: ecosystem, any unit that includes all the organisms, for example, community, in a given area. Why is so important the given area? Because in ecological space, no hierarchy. No hierarchy. In geography, each geographer used a hierarchy. There is a microspace, middle space, macrospace. Like a Matryoshka doll. You notice Russian dolls. There is a small, larger, take into the smaller one, and there is a hierarchy. But in ecology, no hierarchy. Each ecological unit, like for example, a puddle on the pavement and whole of the Himalaya, may be an ecosystem. And analyzed as a unique ecosystem. Good. So interacting with the physical environment, so that flow of energy leads to clear defined traffic structure, biotic diversity, and the material cycle exchange material between living and non-living, but within the system. Okay, flow of energy. Flow of energy. It's a crucial. Why? Because we can describe even the history according to flow of energy. How? Flow of energy, very important. Look at, for example, a possibility. Expire electrical service. Majority of our life based to electrical supply. I tell to the student, it's not reliable that I came from before the television. I socialized eastern part of Hungary, a little bit underdeveloped area, but on the year of my birth, introduced electric, not internet, electric supply to my village. And during my childhood, it was a normal, no electric supply. And survive with oil lamp and any other strategy of, and other one, for example, no television. No television. I am on the border, to believe me. For example, I have 3 daughters and 1 son, and my son is a youngest one, was born in 2008, and for him, even the DVD is a industrial relic, never used. And when I speaking about my childhood, told to me, don't like to listen. Don't like, hate to listen. Because so far, no chance for overlapping the stories. Okay, flow of energy, it's crucial. But understanding of flow of energy possible describe the trajectory of evolution. Look at the story. Yeah, it's ecological. Okay. 99% of energy we are using, even now, with help of electric supply, came from solar radiation. Nuclear fusion. Nuclear fusion. You know the transformation. Hydrogen transformed to helium. Hydrogen transformed to helium. 99% of energy came from the sun. On the surface of Earth, approximately 3 billion years ago, appeared the first generation of bacteria which were able to make photosynthesis. What means the photosynthesis? A nuclear energy came from solar radiation, transformed to chemical energy. This is the first step of transformation. You know the basic rule of energy. No, on the universe, the quantity of energy is steady. No consummation, and only transformation. Transformation of energy, one form to other. Okay, turn that. Solar radiation, on the surface, bacteria and later the plants transform nuclear energy to chemical energy. Chemical energy, very low efficiency, only 1 or 2% of solar radiation able to transform to chemical energy. And start on the base of bacteria and later plants a food of chain. A chemical energy used by herbivores and predators, carnivores, and omnivores, closest relatives of us. Somebody work together with pigs? No? Nobody? Nobody. Very clever. Unbelievable. Very clever.
Pigs.
Pigs. Yeah, unbelievable. Same level like cats and the dogs. Able communicate. And for example, one stable, not stable, but the stable, there was an experiment in Hungarian Agrarian University, and there is a possibility for taking a shower. Pigs take a shower. There is a bathroom on the stable of pigs, and used 3 times per day. Therefore,
you meaning hot mesovasaria?
No. Gödöllő. Gödöllő is other one because it's only one faculty. But
I mean the agriculture.
Yeah. It's enjoy taking a shower. It's not that smell.
Just
Okay.
Don't fall asleep with the pigs.
Beside Budapest, it's a Gödöllő.
No, don't fall asleep because the pigs will eat your arm.
Yeah.
That's the rule.
Yeah. Okay, but somebody living together with animals? Animals? No animals. Cat. Living together with 3 cats, and each of they wake up with my cat, take a kiss, and if not waking up, take the paw on my head, on my ribs, and push the nail inside of the ribs and waking up. Okay, it's a fairy tale. Turn back to the story. Good. Herbivores, omnivores, and carnivores. Starting a chemical energy on the body of animals. Very important, and civilization level is a crucial conversion of energy, efficiency of conversion. Man able convert 18% of chemical energy. It's a Mills practical level. 18% of energy, chemical energy, convert to moving energy. And any other for heating energy, taking the good temperature, the body of humans. But the domesticated animals, which are herbivores, much lower the energy level. Only 10% of chemical energy able to convert to moving energy, which is the consequence of that. Until the industrial evolution, 70% of energy which used by human civilization, from Sumerian, Egypt, antiquity of China, until the, for example, Louis XIV, it's mean 17th century, used the same energetical system. 17% asomatical energy of human, and only 30% a domesticated raw power of domesticated animals, and the simple tools, simple engines like windmill and watermill. Until this period, until it's a traditional period, the energetical system was the same. The speed of military campaign, Julius Caesar, was the same that Napoleon. The same traditional system. And partly, this is the reason of slavery. Long survival of slavery. Why? Because if somebody had a personal contact with animal, not so easy to speak, and understanding the wills of animals. With human, much easier. And some area where low density of population, for example, Russia, for example, southern part of United States, very high value of human, shortage of work power. For example, in Russia, 30% of peasants were holop. Somebody know what means the holop? Slave. Until the middle of 19th century. And not by chance, when prohibited the slavery, after the Napoleonic Wars, in the Peace Treaty of Vienna, at the beginning of 19th century, and which was the last great conflict, partly based to the problem of slavery, civil war in the United States. And after that, it's no problem. Why? Because introduced the fossil fuels, coal, and later oil, and gas, and nuclear power, and so on and so. And this problem, 8%, importance of 8%, expired. Other one, the problem of technological environment partly came back. We are living in the technology of the 19th century. Why? Look at, for example, a combustive engine, electrical engine, invented even in the 19th century. If we are looking according to energetical production, in the 20th century, no other great invention, only the nuclear power. No any other. Look at, for example, compare, for example, T model, Ford. It's the first series produced car of the United States, and, for example, BMW 7. Technological level, no differences. The same technology. Only the comfort and the service and the driving supporting technology, much better. But basically, we are living in the technology of the 19th century. Okay, so, step to the next. Mental space. Somebody participate in the testing and experiment of mental space. A mental space, the basic information concerning to the mental space, that there is a memories on the space. For example, it's possible you know such experiences. For example, walking in the foreign city and not able to remember the trajectory back. And the people try to memorize the memories about the space. This mental map made first time in Chicago, in northern part of United States, and anthropologists, cultural anthropologists, and social geographer, and focused to the basic problem: how able the people remember the memories about the space. And the making of mental map is very easy. Some people receive a white sheet, and, for example, introduce that drawing a trajectory from lodging to working place. And the first making of mental map was very surprising. Why? Because the people wasn't able to remember about the trajectory. Why? Somebody know how many percent of energetical production of body used by brain? Somebody know? 26. It's very expensive thinking. Very expensive. You know, for example, I remember my elementary school and kindergarten and secondary school and university. If no interesting information, the brain switch off standby. It's a normal. It's very expensive thinking. If somebody would like to sleep, it's not bothering me. I am selfish. I focus on myself. Okay, I'm so good. Okay, turn back to the main way. A mental map realized that our brain select among the information and able remember only places where necessary to take decision. Crossroads, turn right. For example, bus station, taking to the bus and so and so. And no detailed information. The brain and the memories, no a GPS. Only the crucial information. This is the first, selectivity. The second one, there are emotion. The relation to the space is not a distant relation, it's an emotional relation. For example, something happened good, some place of the city, it's a warm memories activate if somebody approaching to this place. And it's not so good, stomach up. I remember I socialized in the dictatorship and the wrong side of Iron Curtain. And, for example, if I would like to buy some book in Western Europe and moving and transporting back to Hungary, it was a smuggling, which punished quite hardly. But we would like to somehow apply some tricks and apply the smuggling, different form of the smuggling. Therefore, recently we are living in the European Union, no boundary. But I lived so long in socialist country that when approaching, for example, when I traveled, for example, from France to Germany, no boundary control, but my stomach is up. Because no under control. It's emotion. And other one in Chicago took one experiment about the space emotion. Emotion about the different element of the space. Distributed photos about the outskirts of Chicago. And for example, buildings with water pools distributed in the pupil of elementary school. And very typical, the middle class pupil wrote beside the photo about the water pool.
Swimming pool?
Swimming pool, sorry.
That's very
Very important. Each of my course, I ask a native speaker, swimming pool, okay. Wrote happiness, enjoy, joy. And the immigrants hate. Because watched the swimming pool from other side of the fence. Therefore, landscape and the buildings mean basically different for different people. Okay. This is not a typical mental map. It's published in Australia. It's a classical geographical map, but for Australia, of course, which is the core area of the world, Australia, of course. And for example, Europe, located right corner, and United States, left corner. It's a typical, but some subjective aspect, point of view, able to demonstrate. But look at a real mental map. Mental map. This mental map made on the first generation in Europe about Paris. About Paris. Somebody visited in Paris, of course, the French student, I suppose anyway, visited. Okay. I received a fellowship during the 90s, more than 1 year in Paris. And after changed my position, and for 15 years I wasn't chance traveling to France, and then arrived to the not only Charles de Gaulle, airport Charles de Gaulle. I asked on the metro that how many francs is a ticket, and told to me, sorry, change the currency. We are using a euro. Okay, but in the 90s I had a lot of memories about Paris. Okay, as I mentioned, a mental map made everybody receive a white sheet and asked them, wrote the memories and the important buildings and any other geographical location to the mental map. It's not not too much, 300 or 400 participants was on this experiment. The winner is Seine River, of course. It's if somebody walking on Paris meet with the Seine River, obviously. It's cross whole of the city. The second one, outskirt. It's a banlieue. It's an outskirt of the city, because living in the downtown is very expensive. Therefore, the majority of the people living on the outskirt, on the banlieue. The third one is Arc de Triomphe at the end of Champs-Élysées, which made by Napoleon. A little bit lower one, because the local people draw the étoile. And for the local people, not necessarily visiting regularly. It's, for example, once last year I visited in Lake Balaton. This is quite a large lake of Hungary, and 10 kilometers, small village, 10 kilometers from the coast area, lakeside area, coastal area of the lake, and the local people ask which is the temperature recently the water, and told to me 7 years I didn't was in the water, living beside the lake, and no visiting. Why? Not interesting. A little bit same situation with the Arc de Triomphe. 2/3 of the people draw on the white sheet. Notre Dame, of course. But only half of the people wrote into the map. Tour Eiffel, of course, because this is the symbol of Paris. But to my memories, according to original plans, would like to deconstruct after the how the name is 1872 World Exposition, approximately. And the last one is Bois de Boulogne. Why? Why is a forest? You know? Why? Why is a 6-1? It's an Olympic point winner, Bois de Boulogne.
There was a Bois de Boulogne. What was that? It's a forest?
More or less.
People want to get out of the city?
No recovery, but some special form of recovery.
No, I mean maybe because people want to get out of the city and create memories outside in the outskirts where it's more green.
French students from the smile, I am sure you know. This is the core area of prostitution.
It's a forest, not a forest.
Yeah. Why so important? Because who are the consumer of prostitution? Male. Half of members who participated in the experiment was male, half female. And from 50%, 49.1 not only knew the Bois de Boulogne, but was able to draw in the right place. And in the marketing, there is a very special term of intensity of information. And if we are looking from these eyeglasses, intensity of information, the most intense information was the Bois de Boulogne. Okay, good. Look at the time. Look at the time. We are looking at the time. The first problem, measuring of the time. Measuring of the time. The first astronomical experiences. If we are looking at different world civilization, Judaism, Chinese civilization, Sumerian civilization, a Christian civilization, based to different calendar. For example, sun calendar or moon calendar. A Christian calendar basically sun calendar. But you can tell example for the moon calendar. Moon calendar.
The Chinese?
Chinese calendar. Muslim calendar. And the Jews calendar. Majority of calendar, I was very surprised when I read about the calendar, is moon calendar. More regular. And the sun calendar had a lot of problem. Different length and compensation somehow. Therefore, but Europe became a source of global civilization. Therefore, it's unified a Christian-based sun calendar. The second one, after agrarian revolution, increased the importance of season, a vegetation period, and introduced a season for measuring a time. Very important, the liturgical hours. Liturgical hours. How many times pray, for example, in Muslim world? How many times? How many times? 5 times. Yeah. And in the Christian? No, regular. Recently we are a hobby Christian, and for example, I wake up, last day I compensate somehow. Okay, but when wasn't a hobby Christian, in the Christendom, how many times had to mandatory praying?
Every Sunday.
Every day, but not only every No, it's very important because in the historical past, the people lived in the spiritual reality. If somebody read a Quran or the Bible, the people was online with the God. Online. Speak with the God directly. It was a real word. Therefore, even the Christendom, 4 times. 4 times. By day, necessary to pray. And very interesting, when there are Muslim students in the audience, I tell to them that in the traditional European world, for example, wearing a veil is mandatory. Mandatory. I remember my mother never left the building without veil. Without veil. It's not connected to the religion, it's connected to the traditional mentality. And with my father, without hat. It was a regular. In the traditional world, nobody asked to the causes, to the reason. It's function continuously like, for example, respiration. Okay. Liturgical hours. It's very important, the liturgical hours, because on the time no watch. Therefore, if somebody, for example, to the diary, would like to define when happened something, it's defined to the last or the following prayer. Okay? And mechanical clocks. Somebody know on which area, which country made the first mechanical clocks?
Switzerland.
No. It's a misunderstanding because the first great generation of watchmaker had a Protestant who immigrated to Geneva from France. But the first generation of mechanical clocks constructed China, everything constructed China. It's a normal mentality and reality that if we are looking the great civilization, I would like to supporting you, gathering fellows and friends. If somebody would like to follow the trajectory of great development of China, if we are looking the first generation of civilization, for example, Egypt, for example, Sumerian, Mesopotamia, and China, which civilization alive recently? Only the Chinese. Only the Chinese. And if we are looking the Chinese historical concept, if we are looking a more thousand-long human history, China had only 2 bad centuries, 19th and the 20th. Any other, China was the most developed country. Only 2 centuries missed a little bit, but recently trying to compensate of that. Okay, the mechanical clocks introduced by China, a little bit later, independently invented in Europe. German and French area, and the French watchmaker emigrated to Geneva. Devices of timing. The simple sundial. Taking a sundial, there is a scale, but there is a weakness of sundial during cloudy weather, and during the night is not so good. The second one, water clocks. Water clocks, and it's a very interesting, flowing one to other. There is a scale measuring during even the night. Incense burner. Incense burner. You know the movie of Ip Man? Ip Man?
Yeah.
Who was Ip Man?
The Wing Chun master?
Yeah, and the master of Bruce Lee. Somebody know who is Bruce Lee? Okay, basic information knowing. And for example, Ip Man, other people, nobody. Okay, it's homework. Looking and watching Ip Man. There is a series, Ip Man 1 and Ip Man 2. They're free, unbelievable.
I think there's a 4 now, too.
And you know which is the organization of white. There is a round table. 2 warriors jump to the round table and light incense burner. This is the timing. And if somebody is falling down, lost the fight, if both left on the round table, therefore this is a timing. This is a timer. Was a traditional timer, no, for example, stopper like recently in the modern watch, is a timer was. The same function was a candle in the monastery. A candle in the monastery. If somebody, for example, necessary doing something, light the candle, and this was the timer. And later, for example, in the artillery, used as a timer, a candle. You know this, for example, movies, take a gunpowder, and with the candle. This was a timer of the blowing up. Good. And mechanical clocks I spoke about. But very interesting, the first generation of mechanical clocks, one turn right to left, other left to right. And standardized only on the time of Enlightenment. But if you visit in Prague, capital of Czechia, Czech Republic, there is a district, it's named Josefov, where old style clocks survived the standardization and turning right to left. The scale is defined, which is the real time, but the tourists who not read or not realized, very surprising. Half year before was only 12. Recently, 11:30. What happened? It's a traveling back to the time. No, it's other scale. Good. Look at the historical time, but it's quite a large item. Okay, we will continue with the historical time. Thanks a lot for your attention. Switch out the video, and I ask your patience because I read the list of participants.